Welcome to the kill-death ratio, where I count every kill and every death. Today, I'm playing Stray. Released just a few days ago, Stray has the player controlling a cat in a post-apocalyptic world devoid of human life. Developed by indie studio Blue 12, Stray began development in 2015 and was officially announced June of 2020 to much hype because the internet loves its cats. Stray is a beautiful and simple game with a unique premise and fascinating world. Populating this world are the Zurks, an experiment gone awry that consumes life whether it's biological or robotic. Will 9 lives be enough to survive? Let's find out right meow! We open with our 3 cat buddies taking shelter during a rainstorm. I interact with each cat individually and oh my god, why is this game so cute? After the rain subsides, we wake up and this clouder of cats goes on an adorable adventure. The main cat was inspired by multiple cats, namely former Stray Murtaugh, Oscar the Sphinx, who helped the animators capture how a cat moves, and Jun, who served as director and did a damn fine job. Our cat-tagonist doesn't have a name, so I'm gonna name him after my boy Baxter. Eventually, our adventure takes a sour turn as Baxter is the last one to jump and that pipe is creaking something fierce. We leap across the gap and lose our footing, tumbling to the ground and holding on for dear life like Mufasa. Our feline friends up above watch as we lose our grip and fall into the dark, trash-filled street below. As we continue forward, we explore a derelict city populated by unknown orange-eyed entities that are harmless for now. A mysterious source is guiding the way as signs light up pointing us forward and being very subtle about it. Blue 12 really nailed the essence of cat here, including a dedicated meow button that I must have used a couple hundred times at least. And if you're like me, I knocked down so many cans of paint, scratched up lots of rugs and sofas, and rubbed my fuzzy ass on all the robot legs I could find to really get that full cat experience. Speaking of cat behavior, we find our first living robot and we smack the shit out of it. I won't count this as a kill because the Zurks obviously destroyed this thing and it was on its way out already. After spending some time pussyfooting around, we encounter our first large group of Zurks, and this time they aren't running. We may come armed with murder mittens, but there's way too many to contend with, so it's time to turn tail and bolt. After escaping the Zurks, we continue following the lights until we enter an apartment and start chatting with the computer. It asks us to find a body, which is a little disconcerting, but Cat does what Cat wants, so after a short puzzle, we find a cute little robot called B12, and then Baxter immediately kills it. Nah, just kidding. B12 wakes up with little memory of who he is, only remembering he used to work for a scientist. Before we leave this dump, B12 dresses our boy up in a little jacket that Baxter obviously hates, in a part that I really adore because I've seen my own cat react this exact same way after putting clothes on him. He gets used to it, however, and we take a bucket down to our destination. Waiting for us are Zurks, so I jump up on this dumpster and taunt them a little. Wait, get off my cat! I've never felt so awful getting any character killed in any game ever. This time I don't fuck around and leave the Zurks in the dust. I enter the slums where I get my first real glimpse of robotic life in this place, and the awesome soundtrack composed by Jan Vanderkruisen kicks in. They seem very alarmed by my presence, except for this one who confirms I'm not a Zurk and I'm not here to eat them. No promises though. I'm told to find Momo as he can help with getting to the outside. A winged lemur will certainly make that easier, but as I climb up to find Momo, I discover he's another companion, and a sad one at that. Come on man, how can you be so sad with that sweet flamingo bathrobe? Turns out he has 3 other friends as a part of a group called the Outsiders, whose plan was to find a way outside. They've since lost contact, so our next goal is to change the music and bury our head in a paper bag. After playtime, Momo gives us a notebook prompting the next goal, which is to find the other 3 notebooks left behind by his friends. We get to explore a small section of the city, but before we do that, it's time for a cat nap. Now that we're feeling refreshed, we find the notebooks of Clementine, Doc, and Zabaltazar that all include tidbits of information about this world. We head back to Momo with the notebooks and news that we can repair his transceiver to make contact with his companions. Using his feline nimbleness, it's up to Baxter to avoid the Zurks and climb the building to make the repair. Throughout our adventure, we uncover memories that provide small details about the city that make it feel alive despite the lack of organic life. Using some basic environmental puzzle solving, I make my way up to the top of the structure, meowing the whole way up and dodging these headcrab looking shits, which we discover were designed by humans to consume our vast amounts of trash. They mutated after humanity disappeared and started consuming more than just trash, because sometimes you want more than just McDonald's. With the transceiver repaired, we look down upon our domain as B12 has a memory come back to him telling us of a time where humanity built this city and sealed it off from the outside to protect themselves from something unknown. We take the bucket all the way down to find Momo waiting for us at the bar. He's able to make contact with Zabaltazar, who confirms they made it out of the slums, but in order to leave here we need to go through the sewers. But before we can attempt that, we need something to arm ourselves with against the Zurks. So we head to Seamus's house, Doc's son, to locate something that will help us. We find a secret lab and a tracker computer, but that also needs repairing. The only companion that can repair it is Elliot, who is too cold to help us? How is a robot cold? Either way, we get a nice blanket from Robo Granny down yonder that cures Elliot of the shakes. Seamus is able to find Doc's location, so he opens up a door right into a Zerk nest. Down the path, we jump on top of a cart that sends us barreling towards groups of Zerks we crush easily. It's difficult to count, but after several rewinds and slow-mo verifying, I count 29 of them for the first kills of the game. Shortly after that, we enter Robo Doc Brown's home, who got stuck here after trying to test out his weapon, the Defluxor, against the Zerks. If you've seen Back to the Future, you'll spot a lot of fun little nods to the series in this house. To get the Defluxor working again, we need to head back outside to kickstart the generator. As Zerks descend upon us, Doc shows off his weapon by clearing a path for us. He mounts the weapon onto B12, so I test it out on the 3 helpless Zerks Doc has locked in a cage. I head downstairs and eliminate 19 more that are desperately trying to eat us through the fence. In order to proceed, I need to open the shutter door, but waiting for me is another group of Zerks that get zapped before the door opens. More rush at me as some stay behind to munch on Doc. The Defluxor overheats quickly, forcing me to run around while it recharges. I counted 67 total Zerks killed before we're able to proceed. We get back to the slums and Seamus and Doc reunite in a touching moment. Now that we're armed, we head into the sewers with Momo. Some Zerk eggs break open as they sense my presence, increasing my kill total by 23. Eventually we hit a dead end for Momo as he can't proceed with us to link up with his friends. As we advance further into the sewers, it's easy to see why it's so dangerous. Zerks and their eggs litter just about every surface here, but with the Defluxor we terminate another 46 of them. This room has plenty of eggs, so I do my best to avoid them. That doesn't last long as another 15 cease to exist as I enter this room filled with fucking eyeballs. This cute cat game just turned into nightmare fuel. As the eyes stare us down, it sends more Zerks our way, adding another 15 to the count. After unlocking one part of the door, more creepy frickin' eyes open up. I cap this area off with another 4 kills before dodging the rest and entering hell. Zerks rush from all directions, quickly overwhelming Baxter and forcing B12 to use the Defluxor so much it overloads him. We snatch him up and begin another chase sequence to get our asses out of here. Luckily, B12 isn't dead, but bad news is the Defluxor is now broken. Thankfully, we won't need it where we're going as we enter Ant Village. This triggers another memory for B12, who remembers he used to be a human. This revelation falls heavy on our little accomplice. As he processes that, I meet up with Zabaltazar, who lets us know we can climb Ant Village to reach Midtown and find the final outsider, Clementine. We pass a subway station on our way into Midtown, a bustling city occupied by an oppressive force that keeps the residents in check. We begin what I consider the best part of the game, as you're forced to interact with several companions and figure out some fun puzzles to unlock the way forward. First, we find Clementine in a blocked off apartment, which is actually cozy as fuck. She has the keys to the subway but needs a battery to start it. We link up with a contact of hers that will sneak us into the factory to steal the battery, but first we steal some clothes to disguise him. We infiltrate the factory via a cat's favorite toy. Inside, we avoid patrolling sentinels until we find the battery. Predictably, this sets everyone on high alert, so now the residences are being searched, forcing me to sneak inside Clementine's apartment, where we find out she's gone and left us a coded message spanning her apartment. The message says she's at the nightclub. We head there and climb up into the VIP room to find Clementine has been tied up and we've been betrayed. Dude's a dog lover for sure. We wake up in jail, but this puny cage cannot keep Baxter contained! Throughout the jail, we avoid more sentinels as we find Clementine and break her out. Now we need to do the same with B12, so I snatch him up and we make our exit. I open the giant door, which prompts security to rush in. Clementine takes off, leaving Baxter behind to contend with the sentinels, but I'm a little cheetah and dodge those dumb robots and hop on the back of the vehicle. With them hot on our tail, Clementine pulls over and hits us right in the feels as she inducts us into the outsiders and leads the sentinels away. We turn on the subway and hop on the train that takes us to the control room, which is a stark juxtaposition to the dark city below. At the main computer, we're blocked by layers of security preventing us from getting into the system. B12 hacks each terminal, causing a massive shock to his itty-bitty body. After the third shock, B12 can no longer fly, so we carry him up to the main computer, where we find out that overriding the system will destroy him. He makes us fucking weep by apologizing for not being able to accompany us the whole way and takes the vest off of Baxter. You're my boy, B12! His lifeless husk falls to the ground and we honor him by curling up next to him as the sky opens up. The sunshine takes out any Zerks out in the open and gives our helpful companions a view of the sky once and for all. Baxter wakes up and walks outside, sniffing the fresh air and taking one final look back with a slow blink before continuing on to hopefully rejoin his 3 kitty friends as we join the final numbers. I finished Stray with 238 total kills and one very regrettable death. Zerks are the only killable enemy in the game, and there's just 2 methods of destruction, creating this very simple graph and making my kill-death ratio easy to calculate at 238. Stray is a short game, and while I could have spent some more time exploring, I still got a lot out of it in just 3 hours and 58 minutes. This gives me a kill on average every 60 seconds and a death every 238 minutes. Released in 2022, Stray had some lofty expectations to live up to. The idea of playing as a cat in an adventure game created a whirlwind of hype. I think it met those expectations, with my only gripes being its length and the kind of abrupt ending. With that being said, I love the world Blue 12 Studio created here, and I hope to see a sequel where we see the cat reunite with his pack. Maybe next time we'll see a detailed cat modifier so us cat owners can create lookalikes of our own furry friends. I absolutely loved Stray and urge everyone to check it out. Comment down below your thoughts on this game, and don't forget to subscribe because next time I'll be back with Resident Evil 4. Thank you so much for watching. I'm King Deshane, signing off for now.